Brought to you the start of the day with the Mangalore blast probe. This is bringing you an update in a story that actually took place yesterday. On Saturday, a moving auto rickshaw exploded in Mangaluru, causing fire and heavy smoke. The driver and the passenger were among those who sustained burn injuries. The passenger is currently being treated as the prime suspect in this entire story. Now, within that probe, more than 10 bomb squad personnel have arrived at the suspect's house at the Loknayaka Nagar area in Mysore. These are the visuals we're showing you on your screens right now. I'll stay silent for a second so you can look at the visuals too. My colleague Harish Upadhyay is with us to bring us more details. Harish, since yesterday evening, details continue to emerge on the passenger who police are very much treating as the prime suspect in this entire investigation. As we look at these visuals of his home, could you fill us in on those details?
Well, this is the house he was residing in Mysuru, and what we understand is that when the police landed there, following the lead that they got last night, they did figure out that within this house that he was staying, a small room that he was staying, there were a lot of remains of the bomb, the explosive that he had prepared. The police did not want to take chances, and also following the standard operating procedure, they've ensured that a bomb squad is on place. And now the process of collecting the evidence, whether it's the explosive that might be there in terms of the chemicals he might have used for explosive, or other circuit board and various other evidence that will be collected by the FSL, will be done in the presence of the bomb squad. The police saying that this is more of a precautionary measure to ensure that in case if there's any booby trap, there's no danger to the FSL team or the local police team who's there. But this evidence that will be collected from his home will be crucial to link this man and indicate that perhaps he had prepared this explosive, this bomb at this particular place and then taken it to Mangalore. And that link has to be established on how he managed to get out of Mysore and how did he reach Mangaluru. Did he take a train? Did he go by road? If he did take a train, how did it miss several layers of security, whether at the railway station in Mysuru or Mangaluru? All this will be probed, and this particular team in Mysore ensuring that the evidence can be collected according to the SOP.
Harish, could you also tell our audiences what do we know about his identity, and had he had past run-ins with the state?
Well, his identity hasn't been positively established by the police so far. There are two challenges that's currently the Karnataka police are facing. One, the fact that this man has suffered serious burns. He's being treated in the ICU, and there's very limited scope for the police now to question him or get any sort of information. The police saying that the doctors too are reluctant to allow anyone inside the ICU because he has suffered burn injury. So there's a risk of this man catching some sort of infection. So there are certain conditions that do not allow investigating officers to meet him now. Apart from that, remember, he was carrying a fake ID card, fake Aadhaar card that has been established. Now, there are 2-3 aspects that the police are now trying to stitch together. One, who was he in touch with, and was it part of a particular module? Remember, 2 very active cases that have come to light in South India over the last few months. One is the trial blast that happened on the banks of River Tunga in Shimoga. 2 people were arrested. 1 man was absconding. The Coimbatore blast that has happened, there are similarities between these two and the modus operandi. So these 2 are being probed, and perhaps once the police believe that they have enough in terms of identifying this man, and also they've ensured that people who are in touch with him are also being tracked and traced. Till such time, perhaps the police would not want to comment on his identity. And so far, they are saying that there are some specific leads on who he was in touch with, and that's being pursued right now.
Okay, and Harish, one more question for you. A little while earlier, we shared with our audiences that an aspect that was being investigated was a connection between what took place yesterday and the possible cylinder blast that took place in Coimbatore last month. What aspects exactly, in terms of similarities, are being investigated?
Well, his recent travel history is something that's being investigated as part of this angle. The second aspect that's being investigated is of late in South India, there has been a module where you have radicalized youngsters coming together. sourcing explosives and other elements required for IED, and then carrying out the attack based on the kind of information given by their handlers using Telegram and various other apps. These handlers essentially not present in India as such. So that's something that we've seen in multiple places, even including the Shimoga module that was exposed and 2 people were arrested by Karnataka police, or even in the case of Coimbatore blast. So the police trying to see if there was any link that this man had with any of these modules or individuals who were part of these modules.
Okay. Harish, 2 follow-up questions for you. Could you tell us, A, do we have any reactions that have come in from the man's neighbors or the man's family? Question 1 and question 2, Mangalore, of course, is a highly communally sensitive region. Since the blast took place yesterday, I know that there's been heightened security. All right. Harish, we actually have to move in. I'm sorry, we actually have to move on very quickly. This is in the same story. Police sources have also said that they found a KSRTC bus ticket from Mysore to Madikeri from the passenger, but they're not sure of what purpose he left Mysore and how he'd reached Mangalore. Police haven't been able to speak to the passenger. Remember, as my colleague Harish just said, doctors have currently refused that because the passenger is recovering from the blast that took place yesterday. Both the passenger and the driver, remember, suffered from burn marks, burn injuries after the blast yesterday. Let's go over to my colleague Harish right now. Harish was speaking to us a little while earlier too. Harish, over to you.
Well, the police right now saying that they have found a KSRTC bus ticket. This is for a travel between Mysuru to Madikeri from the passenger. They suspect perhaps that was the purpose that he left Mysore and he's reached Mangalore. Right now, the police haven't allowed, remember, the doctors haven't allowed the police to talk to this man, but this acts as a crucial evidence stating that perhaps this was the mode of transport that this man had taken to reach Mangaluru. It's not a very long journey between Mysuru and Mangaluru. It's roughly around 4 hours or 5 hours, and he must have taken a KSRTC bus and reached Mangaluru. Remember, he stops his auto, boards his auto near the Mangalore railway station, and he then proceeds further, and that's when this blast takes place. 2 unanswered questions here. One, how did multiple layers of security? If he's taken a KSRTC bus, then he might have entered a KSRTC bus terminal, which usually most of the big ones have metal detectors and scanners at place. So how did he miss that? That's one lapse that looks there. The second aspect is, what was the final destination? Because even the police and various other agencies involved in this probe right now suggesting that perhaps he was going to a particular destination and this IED got triggered accidentally inside the auto. Where the blast has taken place, the auto was moving and it was not an area that was thickly populated as such. So they suspect that the destination was some other place and this IED got triggered accidentally and this explosion took place. So they will have to figure out which was the place that he had wanted to carry out this explosion. Had he done a recce before that? All these elements or these details perhaps will become clear in the investigation in the next few days.
Okay, Harish, thank you for bringing us all of those details. We are very quickly going to move on.